speak to the President General of the Isuikwuato Development Union, Dr. Chukwuemeka Oloha. Good morning to you, Doctor.
Good morning.
You're welcome. You're live on Flow 94.9 FM.
Thank you very much.
Ginika.
Okay, Doc, tell us, what is the pulse of the people right now as it concerns the issue of insecurity in Isuikwuato?
The people feel abandoned. They feel abandoned because this kidnapping started, the first one happened in October 8th. And ever since then, there have been hues and cries. It's true that right now, people are saying, what are our generals doing? A lot of feelers, a lot of consultations, a lot of calls have been made without any result, and the thing has been escalating. So we just feel, we wonder where we actually belong. Until recently, exactly last week, when there was an official pronouncement. That is the state of the people. And right now, there is fear. And I can tell you the reasons for the fear. Some of my big brothers have already commented on some of them. Part of the fear is that a man feels helpless when he does not have or is not allowed to have the wherewithal with which he can defend himself. And then the people, the bad eggs, the gangs, feel very free to dance around on the road because they know the people are not armed. Obviously, it would have been different. Thirdly, there are circumstances that make crime to be possible. And those circumstances, as some of them have been enumerated, part of it is the central position of Isuikwuato as the major entry point into Abia North. The whole of Abia North, the entry artery route is through Isuikwuato roads. Whether you are coming from APSU, that is from the north or the western part of the country, or you are coming from Umuahia, the capital city of the state. The other alternative road to Abia North through Bende into Ahafia is completely impassable as it is now. So much as the center of the crime, the spot of the crime is on Isuikwuato land, the invasion is actually on Abia North. And it's looking as if Abia North is being cut off from the parent state. We have stated this before. So the people are not safe. It's not just Isuikwuato local government people. The entire Abia North people are not safe. More than 60% of the victims of kidnapping on that road have been people that were from outside Isuikwuato AGA. Some from Ebonyi State.
Okay.
So fixing the situation in Isuikwuato Road and the factors that feed this criminality will help a damn lot. The people are not feeling safe.
Okay, Doctor, have you been able to profile the causes of this insecurity, especially kidnapping along that road, and those behind the kidnapping?
Well, what I would do is to give you, like you said, profiling. Like I said earlier, there are factors that feed this situation. Anybody that is used to that road will agree with me that that road has been the safest road from Umuahia to Ahaba. Akara is in Ahaba. It has been one of the safest roads. Isuikwuato has been one of the quietest and safest communities until recently. The combination, I agree with the earlier contributor who said the combination of the cattle rearers living in the bush and the bandits that are kidnapping also making entry from the bush is an issue that must be addressed both by the cattle headers and the government. The cattle should be separated from the group that constitutes the gangsters. And even when you talk about the community going into the bush, when you get to the bush and you see cattle and cattle rearers and you decide to attack them, are you really attacking the right people? Would you not be exposed to people now saying you are attacking innocent cattle rearers? Meanwhile, we all know, even though maybe the cattle rearers are not the ones committing the crime, but the people that commit the crime is clear, mixes with them. And maybe out of fear, they themselves may not even disclose who they are. So there must be a separation of the cattle rearers from the bush. They should not be in the bush. If you take your cattle to the bush, after feeding the cattle, you should go to a place that is known and centralized, so that if anything happens and people, for instance, vigilantes go into the bush and see anybody in the bush, it can be certain that that person must explain why he is there. That is one factor. The other factor is the several roads that get into Isuikwuato. The third factor is the bad road. I do not quite accept that a road from Umuahia to Isuikwuato should be regarded as a federal road, and for that, if there is any problem, it will be abandoned. That road, for almost 3-4 years, nothing has been done on it. Before, what used to happen is they will cut off the bad spots and patch it. Right now, it's totally abandoned. Last year, the road was cut completely at Akoli end. It was when it became impassable that something was done. And even as it is now, no concrete thing solution is ongoing there at the Akoli end. Then the end within Ahaba into Akara is totally bad. And no matter how skillful you are, there is no way you cannot step down, slow down so much that your vehicle will come to a slow speed. The fourth factor is that the bush is allowed to grow and onto the road, onto the tarmac, with the result that the people will now, the bandits will stay very close and is covered by shrubs, making a motorist coming and slowing down. You just immediately see somebody in front of your vehicle. There's very little, and before you know it, you are surrounded. So the sides of the road should be cut. That used to be the case before, where the roads are cut and given some 10 meters both sides. So from far, you see sides of the road, and it will force the bandits to stay a little bit further, so that if they are to come out, it will take them some distance to run onto the road, and that will also give a motorist the opportunity to maybe do whatever he or she can do to escape.
Okay, Doctor. Now, I want us to look at the issue of volunteering information to security agencies. I know that these people who are perpetrating this crime, they dwell in the community, and people believe that they connive with all these, probably the headsmen and the criminals for this crime to continue. How often do you volunteer information to security agencies?
The interaction between the police and the community in Isuikwuato has been cordial. As a town union, we've been in constant touch with the area command, the DPO, the DSS, the NDLEA. I have, repeatedly paid visits to them. And in the community, we've also constituted, in fact, we gave a directive to every town union in Isuikwuato to constitute its own vigilante. A number of town unions had been sworn in before in the presence of the DPO, and they were given ID cards. But the thing is not quite complete. These vigilantes, what really are they allowed to do? The youth in Isuikwuato are ready to storm the forest. They are asking me to give them the opportunity to storm the forest. Now, if they storm the forest, as I said earlier, and there are eventualities, what law is on ground to defend these young people? And if there is an accusation of our people going to the bush and then seeing cattle and cattle rearers, maybe the bandits now begin to move around with their cattle. What are we expected to do that is within the law? That is why we are saying let no cattle be left in the bush. Let no people live in the bush. After rearing the cattle, that's what used to be the situation. They will take the cattle back to a central place. So that if we are now to get to the bush and we see anybody that is there, the person will have to explain what he or she is doing. In terms of giving information, of course, like somebody said earlier, the issue of what is happening in that direction cannot be discussed on a platform like this.
Okay.
That is the truth of the matter. And like they said, IDU has contacted and is in constant connection with every stakeholder that is anybody in Isuikwuato. Virtually all the people that have spoken, we are in close contact with them, harmonious and working towards a common direction. And again, when people say the land of the generals, there is a limit. Anybody who has been an officer of government, there's always a limit of what you can do once you've left office. Our brother, for instance, who was in office when the earlier kidnapping situation in Abia was on, I personally know what he did. And that the situation was brought completely under control. So this is the picture. And I think also it is time that government recognizes town unions in addition to the royal fathers. There is need. Other states in Southeast recognize the town unions and give some degree of empowerment. The town unions are the socio-cultural group, and they cut across. They also work together and in tandem with the royal fathers. But there is always some degree of differences in what can be done and the scope. It's important to recognize this. There is nothing. I've been a PG of IDU for a long time. I haven't seen us being, or anybody telling me the town union presidents were invited. There is need to interface with government too.
Okay,
we cannot wish it away. Thank you.
Dr. Oloha, before we let you go this morning, beyond the farmer headers crisis, allegation of killer herdsmen invading farms, are there other crimes peculiar to Isuikwuato local government area?
Well, Isuikwuato is just a community like every other community in the country. There are rural crimes, there are burglaries. I know that NDLEA also have been grappling, but I know that when we met each of these law enforcement agencies, what they were always talking about is the low rate of crime in Isuikwuato. You can quote me. But that does not mean that this level of small burglaries, this and that, and the community is actually cooperating with the law enforcement agents to bring those people to book. We gave our support to NDLEA in their efforts to rid the community of drug addiction. But I don't know any other peculiar crime that I can say that this is. Isuikwuato people are very peaceful. Everybody in Abia State knows that.
All right, Dr. Chukwuemeka Oloha, President General of Isuikwuato Development Union. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us.
And
this
I
morning
appreciate you, please, for bringing this into limelight. God bless you.
Amen. Thank you very much.